So the main thing I tend to look for during the preseason is going to be how do rookies play, and so it's especially fun when we get a rookie going up against another rookie, especially rookie first rounders. So Gregory Rousseau primarily lined up against Penei Sewell, which was really cool. So I want to talk about it because just so you guys know where I stood on both of these guys heading into the draft. Sewell, I said, is a generational talent. I know that word gets thrown around a lot, but, I think he's a really good talent, at least we can say that. Rousseau, I was less high on. I feel like he's a very big boomer bust guy. I actually think he is kind of one of the ultimate boomer bust players, probably the biggest, at least non-quarterback boomer bust player, in my opinion. So let's get into the film and see how these two guys played against each other, in their first game wearing NFL uniforms. So let's start off with this play. This is the biggest play, right? This was the sack. So what's going to happen is, as someone who is a Penei Sewell fan, I'm rooting for him because I was very high on him going into the draft. This was not the best play. And you could argue, is this a bad thing about Sewell or a good thing about Rousseau? It's always difficult to tell, so usually the easiest method is to just give them both credit. What Rousseau is going to do is kind of just a straight up bull rush right here, which makes sense. I mean, Rousseau is a long guy. He has longer arms than basically anyone he's going to go up against, even a guy like Sewell, who isn't exactly a small guy himself. And watch how, because of those long arms, he is kind of able to get Sewell off balance a little bit right there, and Sewell can't really get the hand placement that he wants. He can't really reach that well. So another aspect of this is there is going to be pressure up the middle for Goff, so he could have maybe stepped up in the pocket and sort of avoided this. Just Sewell tries to push Rousseau behind him as much as possible, but Goff can't do that. He can't step up in the pocket, so that's another aspect, but watch what happens. Look, I mean, Sewell he doesn't basically have the reach to get over there and block Rousseau. So this is, I think, to me, this is more of a good play from Rousseau than a bad play from Sewell. I think that Rousseau, he took advantage of those long arms, and that's something I hope to see him do more frequently once he gets to the NFL, or not once he gets to the NFL, but once he starts playing, regular season games. He is in the NFL now. But this one was another one, kind of. So what's going to happen here is that, same thing, one-on-one matchup. That's what most of these are going to be. And watch what happens. So again, contact is going to be engaged right here. You see that, Sewell and Rousseau, you see where Rousseau can potentially make this work. He has his right arm kind of on Sewell's left pec area, which is what he wants. He wants to be able to have his arm there and then push, because typically the outside arm is so important for a tackle. But if you can kind of drive Sewell back, that's all you have to do. And as you see, he is going to drive Sewell back a little bit. Sewell does better on this one. He's able to hold on long enough so Goff can get the ball out. But again, perhaps a little bit discouraging if you're a Lions fan, and encouraging if you're a Bills fan. Again, part of the aspect is we don't know how good these two guys are because we've only really seen them play against each other in an NFL uniform. Although I would say Sewell looked very good the few snaps he got playing against guys who weren't Gregory Rousseau. And honestly, he looked very good from this point on. Those were his two bad snaps, I would say. Other than that, he actually looked awesome. So right here, this is a good example. One thing I talked about with Rousseau, and a reason why I said I'm not too high on him in terms of drafting him, is the fact that I just don't love the aspect of his game. That is, he relies on athleticism so much to get his wins. That's what he did in college, and I'm a little bit worried that won't translate to the NFL, which I think is a fair concern to have, which is part of why he fell so far despite great numbers. And so watch how right when this play starts, you're going to see Rousseau make a move to the outside. But the thing about Rousseau is he might be an incredible athlete, and he is. And I think he will probably get some wins that way. I just think they'll dry up in a massive way. That tends to happen. Just, the analytics say that's a dangerous decision to make. However, I should mention, while he is a great athlete, so is Penei Sewell, and Sewell is not going to let him get by him. Watch, Rousseau tries to get to the outside, but Sewell makes that punch, and he's able to get over. He has the lateral movement and the size, which is why Sewell is thought of as a generational talent, and it's a good play. Again, is it the greatest block you'll ever see? No, I don't know what that would be, to be honest, but he makes the play doing something that, taking away what's supposed to be one of Rousseau's specialties. There's also this play, which, yes, it is in the middle of a play. Unfortunately, I wish it wasn't, but it is. The reason for this is because just this is when the broadcast cut over to this play. So you have, they were showing a close-up of Jared Goff's face. Now they're showing the play. This is what we have. But you see that Sewell, just from what we can tell, seemingly did a very good job of getting off the line quickly to create contact with Rousseau. But the impressive part is going to be, yes, you get the hand placement, but watch what Sewell can do. He really just tosses Rousseau aside right there. And I do think Rousseau is probably going to, he's more known for his ability to rush the passer, and Sewell looked incredible in the running game. He had some other plays, not on Rousseau, where he was just laying guys out. So in the rushing game, he was remarkable. Passing game, again, he had a couple of missteps, but for the most part, still did very well, I would say. Like right here, this was an awesome play. So this one, less about Rousseau and more about Sewell, but Rousseau is still involved. Rousseau is the edge rusher, and they're running a twist right here. What Rousseau wants to do is basically, run to the inside, in between the tackle and the guard, and essentially you have the defensive tackle now becomes the defensive end. This can confuse players, and it can especially confuse rookies such as Sewell. So right when this play starts, I will pause it right here. You see how Sewell does move in and is passing off Rousseau to his guard, but now there's an edge rusher, so he has to get back. But watch him get back perfectly and be able to make this block. I mean, that's just a thing of beauty right there. That was just very, very well done by the Detroit Lions offensive line. That's not just good for a rookie. That's just good for an NFL player. In fact, you could argue that's great for an NFL player to get back that quickly. So that is very promising, in my opinion. So yeah, my final thoughts on this, series, these two series as we saw against these guys, is I thought that both guys showed flashes and showed why they were first-round picks. I thought Rousseau really impressed me with his bull rush. I want to see him do that more often in the NFL because it wasn't a major thing he did in college. He never had to. So the fact that I can see him, go up against the best offensive lineman prospect of the season, at least, and of several seasons, and really kind of get the better of him using that, well, that's very promising, especially for a late first-round pick. For Sewell, yeah, he got beat there, but I wonder how much of it is Rousseau's long arms, which you just won't have to deal with too often in the NFL. Not too many people are as long as Rousseau, and the flip side is, other than that, he looked great. There was no real flaws, and he had some awesome run blocks, so that's the plus of Sewell. So yeah, as a whole, I would say this is reason for optimism for both teams. I know it's always more fun when I can say, oh, this guy looked horrible, he's a bust. We always want to do that, or we want to say these guys look great, they're superstars. I don't think we can say that just yet about either one of them, that they're superstars, but it's reason for optimism, which is kind of what the preseason is all about, if we're being honest. So that's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.